Hi guys! Today we are going to compare the Kids Faber-Castell 24 color pencil that I got in Italy for 5 euros at these TD shops, and I want to compare them with the Faber-Castell the Professional Artist Polychromos. Without further ado, let's get started! Speaking of the general characteristics of the color pastels, I can say that the Faber-Castell the Kids set is composed by 24 color pencils. They are all water-based, and the filling of the pencils is very cheap. They are very light. On each pencil you can find the brand name and the description of the color pencil, but there is no the color name. I decided to do this comparison because I'm really curious to see what is the difference between the professional pencils and the very cheap one. If we give a look at the Polychromos by Faber-Castell, we can see that they are very elegant designing. They have this very expensive feeling. They have the brand name and the line name from one side, and from the other side you can find the color name, the code of the color, and there are some stars that indicate the light fastness value of the specific color pencil. As mentioned before, in the compendium set there were 12 different colors, and they involved all the primary colors, the black and white, and I try to match also with the kids set the same color, so I choose the color that were more similar to the original Polychromos set, and actually I think they match quite well, but there are some colors that I couldn't match at all, like the Indian red, for example, and the most similar color that I found in the cheap solution was this one, and you can see that the tip was a lot darker than it seems. And then the magenta, also in this case I matched with the color that was the most similar to that one, but they don't match completely, unfortunately. But I would try to do my best in this comparison. Now I would like to show you the swatches, and I start with the Polychromos set, and as a paper I use the paper that I always use with the color pencils. It's the Fabriano pastel drawing paper. I decided to do the swatches doing this sort of rainbow, and I didn't press too much the color on the paper because I just want to show the value of the color but not actually blend them together. And now I started swatches also the Faber-Castell Kids set. And as you can see here, a lot of the colors are quite the same actually, but unfortunately, as I said before, the Indian red and the magenta were quite different. They are very deep in the Polychromos selection, and also there is a slight difference in the light blue color and in the dark green. I have also to say that the brown in the Polychromos set is a sepia, and as you can see is very dark, almost black, while in the kids set actually is lighter. And I have also to say that I prefer the color in the cheap set because I think in the Polychromos set is too similar to black. Now we are going to do the blend test of the color, and to blend the color together I decided to choose the color that were almost identical in both sets. So I decided for the yellow, the orange and the red as starting point, and I speed up the process, of course, because I have to press a lot on paper and do a lot of layers to blend the color together. And I also decided to try to blend together the blues. And as you can see here, I started with the lighter color, then I go with the other color or the darkened one, and then I try to blend them together, mix them up in the center together. In the first row I used the Polychromos, and in the second row I used the Kids set. Immediately I noticed two big differences. The first difference is in blending the blues. In fact, it was a little bit more difficult to blend the Kids set than the Polychromos one, but I have to say that I have some difficulty to blend the orange color with the yellow in both sets. The other thing that I noticed is that I used more product in the Kids set than in the Polychromos one. As you can see here, observing the tips of the colors, and I use them actually in the same way. Here, the final test, I did the same drawings, and I decided to draw this Italian fruit tart, and I really recommend you, if you ever go in Italy, to try these pastries, because they are so good, one of my favorite pastries. And I decided to draw them to compare these two sets of colored pencils. I started out with the professional Polychromos set, and I have a little bit of difficulty, especially when I have to draw the bottom of the pastry, because I didn't have a brown that was quite an orangey brown, like a burnt sienna color. And I have just this sepia that is very, very dark, but I try also with the orange to make it work. In the 24 color set, in the Kids set, actually I have some colors that are more similar to the pastry color, but I didn't want to use them, of course, because I want to compare the colors that were more similar in both sets. Then I started to color the fruits. And in this case it went better, because I have all the color that I need to have all the different shades of the fruits. For blending, as always, I use my Caran d'Ache blender. I always use with all my colored pencils. The Polychromos, as I said before, have hard tips, and they are ideal for details, for example, and to work on little drawings. I prefer to use a more soft professional color pencil if I'm working on a very big surface, and if I'm doing like a blurry background, or I have to blend the color together a lot more. The colors layer on top of each other very well, they blend together really, really well, and I love the finished look of this painting. And I finish up with some details with my Jelly Roll pen by Sakura. Now I started to paint with the Kids set, also the other drawing, and I have the same difficulties, as I said, for the color of the bottom of the pastry, because also here I selected very dark color, but I didn't have a light brown color that actually was needed to do that. So with the orange I try to mix the color up to obtain the most similar kind of shades that I need. In this case, do the darkened color was a little bit more difficult, because in the cheap colors usually it's more difficult to find blacks that are very, very dark, or dark color that are very dark. I didn't have issues to layer the color on top of each others, and I didn't have any issue also to blend them together. I really enjoy working also with this cheap color. As you can see, when I start with the fruit, also in this case it was a lot easier, because I have all the colors that actually I need to do the different shades and different values. I found particularly easy to blend in the cheap side, the reds. They were very smooth and high pigmented. More difficult with the black details, as I said before. And also here I finished up with my white pen doing some details. And that's it, guys. Here I show you both drawings done with Polychromos on the left side and Kids set on the right side. As you can see, actually the final result was pretty satisfying from both sides, I have to say. What I notice in particular is that the color is a little bit more vibrant on Polychromos side, if I have to be very picky. And another detail that I notice is that on the kids side the color is more shiny, while the finished look on Polychromos side is more matte. If we speak about vibrancy and pigmentation, I don't see lots of difference between these two sets. So I think that you can work very well and quite easily also with a kids set. You don't need to spend a lot of money to have good color pencils. The professional color pencil have light fastness, and that means that when exposed to light there are not changes for several amounts of years. That is guaranteed by the brand, while the kids set doesn't have the light fastness, so it cannot be used for professional works. But as always said, to just practice and just get to know the medium and the technique, this kids set works very well. In this case, I feel to recommend this particular kids set because I prefer it to the big sets, for example, that I tried some weeks ago with you here on the channel. They work very well, they blend well, they layer quite well, so it's a good starting point if you want to try out the medium and do just some practice. Also for today, that's it for this video. I really hope this video was useful. If you enjoyed it, please leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to don't miss any other content. See you next time. Moi moi!